When Charles became king in 2022, he inherited not just a crown but also a nation deeply divided. Britain faced economic uncertainty, political instability, and growing skepticism about the monarchy's relevance. For Charles, the throne wasn't simply a symbol of tradition, it was a test of survival for the institution itself. He was stepping into a role once embodied by his mother's unshakable presence, but the world around him had changed. Social media amplified every misstep, while debates about republicanism grew louder in countries across the Commonwealth. For Charles, the challenge was not only to preserve his mother's legacy but also to prove that the monarchy could evolve without losing its essence. Could an institution rooted in centuries of history adapt to a 21st-century world defined by transparency, accountability, and relentless media scrutiny? Unlike Queen Elizabeth II, who embodied quiet dignity and rarely revealed her opinions, Charles has long been known for his outspoken views. For decades, he wrote letters to politicians, voiced concerns about architecture, and championed environmental causes. Now, as king, he faces a delicate balance: remain politically neutral, as tradition demands, while still being true to himself. Some admire his authenticity, seeing him as a monarch who cares deeply about real issues like climate change. Others criticize him, arguing that a king should not interfere with politics in any form. This tension defines Charles's reign. He must transform from an outspoken Prince of Wales into a sovereign who symbolizes unity above division. Every speech, gesture, and silence is now weighed against centuries of royal precedent, making his journey as king uniquely complex. Charles's reign is constantly measured against the extraordinary legacy of his mother, Queen Elizabeth II. She ruled for 7 decades, becoming a global symbol of stability, devotion, and endurance. In contrast, Charles ascended the throne late in life, after decades of scandals, controversies, and criticism. Many question whether he can ever escape the shadow of Elizabeth. Can he inspire the same level of respect and loyalty that she commanded so effortlessly? This burden is not just personal but institutional. If Charles fails to connect with his people, the monarchy itself risks being weakened. His mother's reign was marked by quiet strength and mystery, while Charles's life has been more public, more human, and more flawed. For some, this makes him relatable. For others, it makes him less regal. The question remains: will history see Charles as a transitional monarch or as a reformer who safeguarded the crown for the next generation? One of Charles's greatest responsibilities as king is maintaining the unity of the Commonwealth, a political and cultural association of 56 nations, many of which were once part of the British Empire. During Queen Elizabeth's reign, her personal charm and longevity ensured loyalty. But with Charles, the future feels uncertain. Nations like Barbados have already cut ties, becoming republics, while others openly debate whether to keep the British monarch as head of state. For younger generations in countries such as Australia, Canada, and Jamaica, the monarchy can feel outdated, even tied to colonial injustice. Charles must tread carefully, offering respect for independence movements while convincing nations that the monarchy still offers value. His success or failure in this arena will define not only his reign but also the very relevance of the monarchy in a world that increasingly questions its colonial past. The monarchy has always been criticized for its wealth, but in today's age of transparency, Charles faces greater scrutiny than ever before. The public demands to know how much the royal family costs taxpayers, how estates like the Duchy of Cornwall are managed, and whether the monarchy justifies its expense. Charles, once seen as aloof and privileged, now has the task of reshaping the monarchy's financial image. He has promoted a slimmed-down monarchy, reducing the number of working royals to cut costs and avoid scandal. Yet every royal event, from lavish coronations to maintenance of palaces, is examined under a microscope. Critics argue that in times of economic hardship, the monarchy is an unnecessary luxury. Supporters counter that the royals generate tourism and national pride. Charles must strike a balance, preserving the grandeur of monarchy while proving its financial responsibility in a skeptical age. If the crown is heavy, family turmoil makes it heavier still. Charles's relationship with his younger son, Prince Harry, has been one of the most painful aspects of his reign. Harry and Meghan's departure from royal duties in 2020 and their subsequent public criticisms shook the monarchy. Their explosive interviews revealed family conflicts to the world, painting Charles as distant and unfeeling. These revelations not only hurt him personally but also tarnished the monarchy's image. Meanwhile, Charles must maintain stability for his elder son, Prince William, the heir to the throne, ensuring a smooth transition for the future. The challenge is profound. How does a father reconcile with one son while preparing another to lead the monarchy? The drama is not confined to private halls, it plays out daily in global headlines, leaving Charles struggling to keep both his family and his institution intact. The monarchy has endured for centuries by adapting, but the pressure for modernization is stronger now than ever. Charles understands that survival depends on relevance. He has spoken of a monarchy that is more inclusive, less extravagant, and more attuned to contemporary values. Thismians engaging with issues like diversity, equality, and climate change, areas that resonate with young people. Yet modernization comes with risks. Every change risks alienating traditionalists who see the monarchy as sacred and unchanging. Charles must walk a fine line, introducing reforms without stripping away the mystique that gives the monarchy its allure. Can the crown be both modern and timeless? For Charles, this is not just a philosophical question, it is a practical necessity for ensuring that William and George inherit a monarchy that still matters. Ascending the throne at 73, Charles is the oldest monarch ever to begin a reign in Britain. Age brings experience, but it also raises questions about stamina, health, and longevity. While Elizabeth reigned for 70 years, Charles may have only a fraction of that time. This reality adds urgency to his reign. He must act quickly to secure the monarchy's place in the future. His health is under constant observation, with tabloids speculating about every gesture or sign of fatigue. Supporters argue that his maturity makes him well prepared, while skeptics view him as a transitional monarch, holding the crown until William takes over. Time itself is his greatest adversary, pressing him to prove that even a short reign can be meaningful. Perhaps one of the most dramatic shifts in Charles's life is the transformation of Camilla from a vilified figure to queen consort. For decades, she was portrayed as the other woman, blamed for the collapse of Charles and Diana's marriage. Yet time, patience, and Charles's unwavering devotion changed public opinion. Today, Camilla is at his side as queen, lending him stability and companionship. Her presence, however, is still controversial to some who remain loyal to Diana's memory. For Charles, Camilla represents both personal happiness and political risk. Together, they must project unity, dignity, and compassion to win over skeptics. Their relationship, once scandalous, is now central to the image of the monarchy. In many ways, Camilla's acceptance mirrors Charles's own struggle for redemption and legitimacy. Ultimately, the reign of King Charles III will be judged not by its length but by its impact. He has inherited an institution at a crossroads, respected by some, rejected by others, and under pressure from modern society. His task is to preserve the crown's dignity while ensuring its survival into the future. The story of Charles is one of resilience, a man who waited longer than any heir in history, endured scandals, and faced relentless criticism, only to rise at last as king. Whether his legacy will be only of reform, reconciliation, or transition remains to be seen. But the truth is clear. His reign will shape the monarchy that William, George, and future generations inherit. The patience of Charles's lifetime now meets the urgency of history, and the crown's fate may rest on how he carries its weight.